What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again, this time with a single battle review. Shout out to RBE, dropping battles immediately from their Straight 2 at 3 event right onto YouTube. And the battle that we're going to be covering is A Ward versus Reed Dollaz. Before, on my predictions that I made, actually pretty close to the event too, so, getting the rebound right after the predictions and make my review. In my predictions, I said that Reed versus A Ward would be battle of the night. I was pretty confident in that, and being that it dropped first and kind of the little bit of reception we're hearing from the event, it's definitely up there. I'm hearing battle of the night. I heard that Ines versus Mac was really crazy too. Shout out to Ines. Apparently put on an insane performance. I had him getting killed. So, proved me wrong. I got to see the battle still. But as of right now, from what I'm hearing, he proved me wrong. So I got to give my apologies, where they lie there. But yeah, Ward versus Reed, really, really, really great battle. Another great installment from the Straight 2 at 3 series. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the battle. So we're gonna start out here. Reed starts first. Almost lost my life, even though it was written. I still wasn't prepared. That was fire, and his first round. Reed in general, there's gonna be a lot of street talk and a lot of flows that bases on his style. And I think in this particular setting, what Straight to It has been with that that kind of crowd, the small crowd feel, pretty much all battle rap personnel. I think Reed excels in this environment. A lot of his best performances and wins in this kind of second win that he's had in his career, when you look at Nitty, when you look at Ill Will, battles such as those, he's been, much better in the small room. Even when you look at the Surf battle, even though I think he lost that battle pretty clearly, he was great, had a fantastic third round as well. So that volume-ish setting, if you will, I think really plays well to Reed's style. So after that opener about the It Was Written, only reason I took my phone out versus Big K, God was calling, that was cool, and said, I could have went to church too or walked into the light, but there was fiends on the steps. That is fucking fire. That's kind of the one clip I've seen going around from him before the battle came out, and that's just, I like that shit. Don't If y'all are studying me, or if I'm the God, don't that make Reed the Bible? So actually, some really clever flips here on the Christian with the applying him to Christianity. Everyone's going to do approaches versus the horseman, something involving God. That's part of it. You're going to talk about religion at least a little bit. So, the most I ask is you be creative. That was a pretty creative flipped on it. So I like that. On the reason Rosenberg had a free will, that was pretty dope. I like that. I created the man first. I'm the reason Adam's a rare breed. So he's clicking pretty decent here, and then even has a really fire Uno scheme to end. I don't have it all written out, but it was a draw 4, highlight of the card. So the game reverses back to me. It was like a 4-layered scheme, so really, really enjoyed that. So I really was a fan of Reed's first. Thought it was dope. And then A-Word goes, you keep a piece, I keep receipts. They better hope dollars refundable. Fire. Pretty much out the gate, he's going crazy. You're used to it's not your hype man. Now you're gonna have a Walker in front of you. K Walker is Reed's hype man, so I like that flip too. Stuck Reed in the middle of the round, like Big K reading in the middle of the round, just happened in Reed's last battle. He had a 16 that he spits backwards. He did something like this versus O-Red, as well as a couple other people, where he spits, about 12 to 16 bars forwards and is able to spit the exact same sequence backwards, and it all matches up. This one was not as perfectly lined up as, maybe the one versus O-Red and others, but it was still very fire, and that's beyond me in terms of level of difficulty. So, it didn't land as it usually would, because it's an insane thing to do that writing-wise, but still dope. It's the same cap over and over. You ain't rich dollars. Talk about Reed lying about his money, Rich Dollaz with the Yankee, the stinky Yankee fitted. So that was fire. Then even to very end his round, he has a rebuttal to the It Was Written line from Reed, applying it to Nas. So, Ward had a very good round too. I think the first is probably the most debatable round of the battle. And me personally, I actually hedged Reed the first. I really liked Reed. The Fiends on the Steps, to me, is the best line of either of their two first rounds. Just a really good first to enjoy. Read the Bible. Thought they were both pretty consistent in their rounds, but what Reed said, his highlights were just higher than Ward's highlights to me. So I actually edged Reed 1-0 going into the second. And as we get into the second, this is an amazing round from both gentlemen as well. This is probably like the peak of the battle right here between their two rounds. And Reed comes out with an amazing leg. And we're going to talk about Reed. A lot of these OG battle rappers, Smack era guys, go over their legacy a lot. A lot of, I was there when Smack was holding the camera. We need to stop with those bars. We know Smack held the camera. All of you guys have told us that. So, yes, so we're used to having them, go back in time like that. But I think Reed especially somehow is always original with it. Always does a great job talking on his legacy without us feeling like, here we go again. Reed talking about, back in the old days. You know why it's so easy to nitpick my career? I started the thread. I like that shit. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. When y'all was watching Dollars, it wasn't no budget. And he had a Bone Thugs and Harmony little reference in there beforehand. I forgot to write it down, but it was dope. We was just making when we was out there rapping, we was just making history, not no money, more good stuff. I like that a lot. You ain't gonna like this drum. It's a Nas beat. The way that he slid up and performed it too, but that's a pretty clever line. That's a little punch right there. We're seeing Reed even get some of the punches in. I like the Nas beat bar. I brick by brick and I rose from the concrete. Before AMG mode, it was Philly DVD flows. I like that. And this is how you're supposed to go over. I think a lot of times with OGs that come back, there's a disconnect between some of the fans. You could say newer fans, but there's even some longer time fans that feel a disconnect with some of the, what we've seen kind of go down with Mook, what we see for older battle rappers, even celebrity guys that kind of come back, your J Mills, your Cassidy. I consider Reed of that ilk, of all these guys that were rapping back in the day and kind of started this. And everyone kind of talks about their legacy a lot. And of course, if you have a legendary status of that nature, you want to, put that to the forefront. But, with little bars like that, the DVD flows related to the AMG, I think it's true. And it's just fire. Walk Up, Remember Me, A-Ward, so little performance. And he ends it on a little bit of a weird note, or not a weird note, but the crowd's reacting kind of threw him off. This will knock a white boy off his skateboard. So it's cool. But the problem is that I actually thought that was it's Reed's best round of the battle, and I didn't know if Ward would beat that. And then Ward's second is one of the rounds of the year. No question. He's a little shot at surf stealing bars to start. And then he says, I go from QB, just battle, QB, to this Reed option, so I got to keep my eyes on the defensive end. Get the fuck out of here, man. A-Ward's football bars from battle to battle have become kind of a signature part. I think he might have the best football bars in battle rap. It's up for discussion. That Reed option shit was retarded. It always say, in God we trust when you read Dollars. Oh my God. That's the viralist clip that's went from, like I said, the Fiends on the Steps for Reed. This one, the Reed Dollaz. So he's got two crazy haymakers. This Smith to Mahomes, literally Genos to Pats. He is a Dollar General bar. Reed calls himself the General. Dollars is the root of all evil, and the meek shall inherit the earth. Did a whole between the Bible, relating the Bible to the Philly hierarchy. I thought that was crazy too. And then there's just this insane rhyme pocket. Maybe I'll be able to put up a clip, maybe not. I like to respect clips when the battles just drop. But if any of you haven't seen, I'll keep a link in the tweet down below. It's this 30-second rhyme pocket he gets into. Nice house you can't break in the front like how roller skates stop. Off-road doing donuts like a overweight cop. Insane flow pattern. One of the rounds of the year, and I had Ward winning this second clearly. So I had it 1-1 going into the third. And into the third, I think this is the clearest round of the battle, and something that you see a lot with Reed's battles. And if he is going to take another step, because he just seems to be getting, more and more competitive as the years go on, he's done a really, really great job adapting to his era. I really can't praise Reed enough on that front. I say it again and again, but I feel like a lot of legends that come back sometimes get stuck in their ways. And you've seen Reed, who looked like damn near, if he retired, we would understand when he came back versus John. You see battles like Clean Paper. But he showed flashes in battles, versus Chess. I think that he showed flashes in his third round versus K-Shine, although I think the general consensus is that battle's a 30. Actually gave Reed the third in that battle. And what you see, it's just a lot of improvement. But the one last step is that he tends to, by the third round, either gas out, throw out a mixtape first, kind of stumble. And that's what you see here. He has a crazy flow pattern to start, ending it with Dow's, shoot him in the jaw like 50 and knock his teeth out. Dows him with the guns. Don't make me reach out. So it was cool, but sadly, it's kind of been already exposed that it was from the set trip and freestyle. He recycled it. It was fire in the battle. I'm still happy that I heard it, but I can't even put too much stock into it. And it was the highlight of his round. From there, it gets a little stumbly, and then you kind of get the sense like, oh, this is a mixtape verse in this third. Before that, though, he has a while you was doing this, we was doing this concept. So while you was in gym, we was out lifting the metal, that yada yada. He didn't say that exact bar, but along that concept, I'm trying to put wings on him. Who wants to fly his kicks? And this has a heavy flow-based round, a lot of flow, and the content itself is what will make you think it's more of a mixtape verse. And Ward does what Ward does. He's one of the best battle rappers in the world right now, one of the best all-around, too, covers all assets, angling, you see flow patterns, punching, direct material, great pacing. And for a guy like that who can do it all, it's easy for him when someone gives a gimme round for him to just do enough that you're like, yeah, that's clear. And he does that without it even being his craziest round. Beating me harder than finding the site for that 100K Cassidy tournament, fire, and that's a fact. They scam the people. We know. The spaces I'm in at night ain't no host who could just mute the voices. So even getting deep, kind of into a realer, not exactly street talk bag, but a real talk bag. There's still people that can feel that bar and understand that. We all deal with stuff from all ways of life, so I like that relating it to the spaces. Obviously, the way spaces have been popping in battle rap. Read a cornball like Anwar, which was hilarious. The shot at Anwar. I know they go back and forth a lot. Mills pop out of nowhere like Burke Street. Fire, the deep dive history. That's doing your fucking homework there. For those of you that don't know, Burke Street, that reference. So overall, he got the third clear as well, just closed it out. And I gave this battle to A Ward. Pretty clear, but very fire battle from both. 2-1 clear in the second and third, with the first being debatable. I edged it to Reed. And that is my review here for A Ward versus Reed Dollaz. Kept it pretty simple. I didn't want to stretch it out, but I do want to give some more praise here to both of these gentlemen. Like I said, A Ward is turning out to be one of the best in the world, doing it all off smack, which I know there's all types of debate for that, people going back and forth. I'll probably have someone tell me A Ward's trash, someone telling me he's the greatest. But I don't get into all that. What I know is that I'm seeing him do a lot of different facets of battle rap at an elite level. He does history diving here and good angling. He has a bit of these defensive personal approaches where he's able to relate something directly with Reed to his religion, obviously, because the religion is always going to be a topic of the battle when you have a horseman involved, especially A Ward, the best of them. So like the meek shall inherit the earth, that was fire. The donuts, like our overweight cop, that whole flow pattern, I mean... It's special to see, too, obviously, Reed. I think A Ward has pretty clearly said on a few occasions that Reed is one of his inspirations, his first favorite battler. So to pay homage in a way by upping your level of rap to these insane flow patterns, that's dope. Punches, I mean, he gives you everything in this. I can't wait to see where A Ward goes next from this. He's starting to creep up. Not necessarily in the champion of the year, rising conversation, but that name for a guy that started the year kind of quiet, not as many 3-rounders, obviously was a big player in the race last year. We're starting to see him pick up steam. This performance is, electrifying, and his second round, in my opinion, might be the round of the year right now. There's a few that you could debate. I'm not saying it's for sure, but it's definitely in that conversation. And as for Reed, another first and second, fire, replayable, competitive. Third, goes out a little bit, but for a legend, especially for a guy like Reed, I'm really just happy to see this. Being competitive with the actual hardest matchups, he's taking Nitty, Ill Will, he took Big K. Obviously, the battle didn't pan out how he wanted, but, he's taking Surf, Shine, and then even goes and takes A Ward when there's kind of this stigma, almost like blackballing A Ward in a way. But yeah, overall, I had Ward taking the second and the third clear, although Reed's second was fantastic, and then I edged Reed the first, so great battle. I'm looking forward to seeing what RBE drops, going forward over the next couple days, couple weeks. I won't be able maybe to cover it next day like I'm doing with this battle, but I'll try to get those as soon as possible when they drop. But it's been Jason Reviews here again, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.